Hello again, it's Noob, and inside this box we have something very unique and totally superb. Some of you may already know what this is if you are one of the 79 people to own one of these locks. This is the Alpha, made by Diggs from Digby Lock and Tool. It was sent to me as a gift, and I didn't need to do a video on this, but I wanted to do a video on this because I just think it's absolutely amazing. What is it? Well, it's a type of lever lock or wafer lock, you could say, very similar to a safe lock, and it was designed as a challenge for Diggs himself and also for some people in the community. You can't buy one of these, although I'll come on to that later on in the video. As Diggs went through making this lock, and we'll see how it works in a minute, it really is something special. They tried to fill all the picking gaps that they could see and get some feedback from the community, and they are still offering, for those who own this lock, a prize for the first person to pick this. It's been out for over a month now and still no one has yet picked it. Yeah, so without further ado, let's actually take this out and have a look at this gorgeous lock. And it came in this lovely box with a big green D there for Diggs, and here it is in all its glory. Isn't it lovely? There is the key, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's not a very complicated key. And no, it's not. Remember, this isn't designed to be a commercial lock or have a crazy bitting. It's really a challenge lock, if you like, which is a proof of concept in many ways. It's not designed for commercial use or for to be a prototype for a commercial lock or anything like that. No. This is, I guess, a labour of love, a passion project, and a very, very cool one at that. So, if you look at the keyway here, you can see there's a post in the centre. So this is a piped key. You'll also see that the keyway extends out by about 1/4 of an inch here, and that is for a purpose in that you put the key in, you give it a turn to the top position like this, and then you can slide it that way, retracting the bolts. So look at this. Isn't that cool? Now, what's actually going on the inside? Well, we can actually see that if we just lock this back up for a minute, and then we can look around the other side and we can remove the back plate using some screws. I'm actually going to use a mat just in case, because I don't want to lose anything, and this should help me just find some spaces to store things like these screws and that kind of thing. So we might see how this lock works by looking at the back side. So here's the key. You might be able to see down in there into the keyway that there are things for this key to lift up. Indeed there are. So put the key in and turn it. I have to get this exactly to 90 degrees like this. And when you do that, you're lifting all of these wafers out of the way. So that's locked and that is unlocked. And you can see that you need to clear all 6 wafers, 3 top, 3 bottom, before this lock will slide to the, well, in this case right. You can see here that this bolt stump has to go past these little gates all the way across. So you can see that it has to go all the way across smoothly to retract the bolts out. If you haven't lifted these up all the way, these gates, then what will happen, of course, is that these little teeth will interact with the cutout and the bolt stump, grip in like this, like that, and you won't be able to move that wafer up out of the way again. You'll have to backtrack out. It's a very, very cool design indeed, and some precision engineering. So how can we see what's actually going on the inside of this? Well, it's quite difficult to do, but apparently it's possible. We just need the right technique. So first of all, we put the key in and turn it that 90 degrees, lifting the wafers out of the way. Now there are some overset traps here, so if these come up, it blocks the keyway just as much as if you haven't lifted the wafers far enough. If I move this to the right, I can't remove the key, so what I need to do is find something which can hold this apart. So I've got two big hex keys here. Just going to put them in like this in the center post, hold it, and then remove the key, and hopefully we've now trapped the wafers like this. Now what I've got to do is align that with the center there, is get that so I can push the bolt back as I manipulate the wafers with these two hex keys, which sounds a bit crazy, and well, it sort of is. It's not easy, and there we go. But we have moved it forwards a position. Can you see? I couldn't do that with a key because it would go too far this way, I think. So now I've moved it one position. We've got to do that same trick again, and I've got it to move a second row here. And then what I'm going to do is, while it's trapped on this center set of gates, pop in these hex keys here, and then push again like this. And then we've got to do is do the same maneuver again to get the third set of gates over the bolt stump, which again is super hard. So, and I think I've got this to the point where I can pull this cartridge out like that. That was a real struggle, and the reason that I'm keeping these tools in here at this point is so that I can trap those wafers so that the spring plates don't all shoot out. But I think we've got there. I think we're okay. There we go. Got it. Oh, and one of the spring plates did just come out off there, so I'll catch the other side, but we caught it. Nothing's come out. Here we go. There's the spring plate. So the first interesting part is this part here, and this is literally just a slide which goes from this position to about that position with the key. So if I pop the key in, you'll see that that is a bit that the key goes into here like that, and you'll see that the key can turn in this position, and then you'd move it back to here like that. So that's sort of what's happening there. It's got a bit of warding on here, which makes it hard to tension the lock and reach up to some of the levers, or wafers should I say. Then we've got the cassette. If I turn it around, you'll see how it all works. So we've got two springs per wafer, and those springs go like that and push down on these wafers. So you can see that they slide up. If I was to put the key in here, so if it was going to go in and move it up, you'll see how what's happening is that this center section, if I hold it here, turns up, and I'm moving the wafers to their corresponding heights. Can you see that? There you go. So you can see the bellies of the wafers there. So let's just take the spring sort of cartridge out the top. You can see that there's two springs per wafer. Put one there, take the other one off. It should just slide out. It's quite very tightly machined. There's the other one. And then, yeah, you can slide these out. So I've got to be very careful, of course, that I remember what I'm doing. So I'll put the key over here, and we'll put the bottom ones here and the top ones here in a row. So I should put them, where can you see them? I'll put them here. So that's, so looking this way, I suppose that really I should think about it as the bolt being like that. So these are the top ones. So put 1, 2, and 3. And the bottom ones, 1, 2, and 3. And you can see how these are free sliding in these grooves, these wafers. Very cool. Look at that. I mean, honestly, just so beautiful. Seeing how nicely everything's machined and how easy everything slides in and out. You can see here, put that there, the gates and the traps there, the false gates, which are designed to catch as it slides across these bolt stumps. So you'll see here what I'm talking about. So as this is going this way, if it's so I'm just trying to think, if it's lifted not high enough, then it'll catch here. If it's lifted too high, it'll catch here. So either way, and then we move it a gate, and then you'll see it catches here or it catches there. Move another gate, and then you might be okay, but from that point. But so either way, you've got 3 gates there with those traps. It's really quite well thought out. So when I first saw this lock, my first instinct was that the key itself must interact with the bellies of the wafers. So what I'm talking about is this part here, that key must interact somehow with the bottom of this wafer to lift it up. So it'll be here, then it'll be lifted like that by the key. And when I looked at the keyway, I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong, because it looks like it's sort of blocked off top and bottom. Then I thought, actually, no, of course, you put the key in and then turn it. And you can see here that in this, well, in the keyway, you are exposing both sides of the bitting of the key in those 3 grooves, which obviously relates to where you'd interact with the wafers themselves. So yes, you do actually interact with the wafers by lifting up the wafers to a particular height, depending on the cut of the key here. However, the way that this has been put together means that to tension this lock, you'd have to first sort of turn the keyway, and then you'd have to put force on it, and then you'd have to lift the wafers up and not fall into all these false gates in here. It's very cool. So yeah, you can see, just to reiterate how this works, you have your stacks of wafers in here. There are 6 of them, top and bottom, each with 3 gates, with and each of the little stumps here have those false gates to trap the wafers against the bolt stump, those little C-shaped cuts. The key, when it's inserted, will, as it's rotating round, lift up the wafer by an amount relating to the height of the bitting on the key. And you see the key coming round, and you can see the bitting exposed there, and that will happen top and bottom for all 6 wafers in those rows. It's a really cool design, and I can't imagine how I would go about picking this. I think that having to tension it by really sliding the whole quite heavy and well machined cassette all the way to one side, and then try to pick yourself out of these false gates on top and bottom and all 3 wafers, even if you know the bitting, just seems like a challenge that I probably wouldn't have the skill to surmount. So while you can't get one of these locks yourself, they are all sold out or been given away. He has designed the Bravo, and the Charlie is coming next year. I've seen the Bravo, it's more like a standard sort of pin cylinder. The Charlie I know nothing about whatsoever, but if you check out Diggs's website, you'll see all the details on there as they come up. So the Bravo, I think, is available. It's either available now or it's available for pre-order. But yeah, this one, the Alpha, isn't available, but is super cool. Now, I'd be really interested to know, how would you go about picking this lock? What would be your technique? What would you do in terms of tensioning this by pushing that whole cassette to one side? How would you manipulate these wafers and not fall into those very deep overset traps and underset traps with those false gates? I really want to know, because I know there are some incredible picking minds out there who have much better skills than I do, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you go about picking this lock. So do drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you like this lock, leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so, because it really helps me out. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Now all I've got to do is put this all back together.